So hi, my name's Jenny. I'm the social media manager for the F1 games, and with me is game director Lee Mather. We're here to talk about F1 2019. We're here to show it off to you. So Lee, could you tell us a little bit about F1 2019 to start with?
Yeah, so this afternoon we're actually going to focus on the new structure of the front end, some of the customisation, and just give people a clearer picture of some of the new elements that we've added to the game this year.
Nice. So before we begin, could you tell us a little bit about F1 2019, how long it's been in development for, what have kind of been the main focuses of kind of the dev team as you've been developing it?
Yeah, so I think probably one of the key things this year is obviously we've added the F2 to the game, but also in terms of sort of the development of the game this year, we've actually had it in development for much longer than some of the more recent titles, so it's almost been 2 years in development, and in order to get more into the game, we actually increased the size of the development team as well. So not only has it been in development for longer, but we actually had a larger team working on the game, and that's obviously given us the opportunity to release the game much earlier in the year. I mean, that's a significant jump to be coming out at the end of June. And the main consideration for that was, you know, fans are watching the sport, they're watching the races, and they want to just get in playing the game straight after the races, you know. So we want them to be able to play the official 2019, you know, Formula One season as the season's taking place.
Yeah, and I guess now I can play in Silverstone whilst with the actual F1 game.
Yeah, well, when you're not there, because you'll
season.
probably go to the race anyway, won't you? So you'll be there.
Hopefully. So yeah, so let's kind of have a look at the front end, because I know some of you have seen some of the menus before in kind of some of the influencer videos that you've seen, some of the kind of YouTube videos, but we want to kind of show the full menu to you guys right now. So could you take us through the menu screen and everything that's on it?
Yeah, so I mean, straight away it looks very, very different to F1 2018. You can see there on the home screen we've got the career tab. We've also got news, which is fantastic, so that's something that we can update on a regular basis. So it doesn't always have to be about the game, it can also be about the sport. That's very much down to whatever we want to, you know, showcase to the player. You'll see straight away as well down here, these are both new items that we've never had in the game before, mail and calendar.
Yeah.
So it'll become clear as to exactly what they're used for as we go through some of the other areas and maybe in some later streams. But mail is a great way for anybody who's running leagues, which people may have heard about in the game. Leagues will be allowed to notify the player of, you know, changes to the rules that maybe happen for the league or changes to the schedule. We're also able to use the mail system to reward the players. So obviously there's now competition points in the game, which I'm going to talk about in a little while. But also we can gift players with customization items as well, and that will come through the mail system in the game.
Nice. So that will be kind of like our way of keeping in touch with the players.
Yeah, and there's so one of the really cool things is if you've got a good rating with your super license, you'll get a free gift through the mail. You know, so it's a case of if you're performing well and you're a good, clean driver, because we're always trying to clean up the racing online. We're always trying to get people getting a good experience, and that's a really good way to, you know, give people something back for actually driving nicely and behaving well online. So next up there on is the calendar. Again, so that's something new, and again that ties very closely to the way leagues are now implemented into the game. So if you are a member of leagues and there's different evenings that you race, you can go to the calendar and you can see exactly when they're going to take place. You can also see obviously on there when the esports tournaments are going to start. So I mean that's another tab that I'll move across to in a minute. Is the official esports tab located on the main menu of the game, again showcasing, you know, one of the real big things that's going on with the game this year. So I'll just move across into solo. So as you can see there, we've got the ability to start a new career. I can do Grand Prix, I can do championships, I can do time trial.
So multiplayer, Lee. We're at the multiplayer screen.
Yeah, big changes to multiplayer in the game this year. So the first thing you'll notice in there is that we've got weekly events. So there's 3 types of different weekly event in the game this year. So there's, say, like a scenario-based one where you're placed into the role of a driver and you've got to overcome something, or you've got to get a position, or you've got to come back from a puncher, or something along those lines. And then there's also 2 new styles of weekly event in the game. And we'll obviously run one type, you know, on a week-by-week basis. So the 2 new types are a Grand Prix and Classic Grand Prix. And the way that works is we take the structure of a Grand Prix weekend and we spread it out over the course of a week. So at the start of the week, you'll take part in the practice phase. And all the time that you're practicing, you'll be earning competition points. Competition points are the in-game currency that you can then spend on customization, which we'll talk about in a moment. But then towards the second part of the week, obviously we'll move into the qualifying phase, as in a race weekend. So you'll go online and you'll set qualifying times. And again, you'll be earning competition points while you're doing that. and then at the end of the week, over the weekend, you can pick a slot to then go online and race against people who've also been through the practice and qualification process, and you'll be match made against drivers of similar skill, and again you'll be rewarded for doing so with competition points, but also there'll be badges and trophies that you'll also be able to collect, which is really cool because in the game this year we've also got a trophy cabinet, so you can save your trophies into the trophy cabinet and showcase your favourites. So when you go online, look in the lobby, you can see who's got the coolest trophies.
Yep. And I can look at all my trophy wins and admire them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's we go to the time and effort of creating those, so it's really nice to be able to showcase them and see how they look. So other obviously new things on that screen there is leagues. Leagues is pretty massive. So we often see a lot of people do want to race online and they want to take part in league play, but it's actually really quite daunting. I always think, it's like I might think, well, I'm pretty good, but I don't know. These leagues are all really hardcore professional guys. But it's like I'm going to create my own league maybe, or try and search for a league that suits the way I play, the times I play. So leagues essentially allows anybody to create their own league and manage it entirely from within the game. There's no need to discuss it outside the game. There's no need to run it through forums, through other mediums. It's a case of you can do it all within the game, and that's something that I think that's really strong in F1 this year. The fact that you can create those leagues, invite anybody you want, have them as open or closed. You can have additional admins that you assign to those leagues. So it may be that I don't have the time to manage the league all the time, so I add other friends in there who can actually manage them on my behalf. So that's really cool, and it's a great feature that you can do entirely from within the game.
So can you change the settings on that as well? So if I wanted all assists, non-assists, or a variation of all of them, can that happen in those?
Yeah, they're infinitely customizable in that way. So you can always sort of create a league that suits the way you want to play the game and the sort of the style of racing you're interested in. But more importantly, it's a case of, as I say, let's say I create a league that runs on 7:30 on a Monday night. 2 or 3 people can't make it, they can actually instigate a vote to say, I'm sorry guys, I can't make that one. Can we run maybe Wednesday night at 8 PM? And then other people in the league will be notified through the in-game email system, and then they can choose to whether accept that, and then maybe we could just reschedule the racing. Yep. And all of that's done entirely within the game. There's no need to try and text your mates, phone your mates, get your WhatsApp group going. You can just do it all within the game. But another cool thing as well to mention about multiplayer this year is obviously we've now got the multiplayer car, which is the basis for the customization in the game, and something that we're going to talk about in a moment. So the multiplayer car can be used across all of the multiplayer game modes, but don't worry if you want to drive a Ferrari or a Mercedes or any of the official cars, you can also use those in unranked LAN and league play as well. So we're moving to esports first.
So this is the esports tab. All of this stuff goes to kind of out of game. So some of this will go to kind of launch the in-game browser, so you can kind of have a look at the calendar, look at the rules, current standings, and watch all the races and stuff. Obviously, one date to put in your calendar is the Pro Draft that is on the calendar like the 16th to 17th of July. We'll be getting more information about that very soon, but we do have on f1esports.com the list of people who've qualified to go into the Pro Draft, and we can't wait to see what will happen from there. But you'll be able to see all that on the esports tab and see kind of all and how that goes. And then there's one more that I can see from there, and that's... Yeah,
there's just one thing I just want to add about the esports as well. So obviously this year the qualifying's been happening on the F1 2018 game. Once the 2019 game's live and there's a future round of qualifying for like next year's esports, for example, there's going to be unique prizes attached to the esports qualifiers.
Oh, okay.
So if you enter the esports qualifiers, there's 4 unique items that you can unlock for the customization, so that's really cool. There's a really nice skin that you can unlock for the car if you participate in the esports qualifiers, so it's definitely worth getting involved in that when that goes live in the 2019 game.
Nice. So before we go on to customization, I can see another one there which is called showroom. So could you just...
We want to go into the pretties first.
Yeah, let's see the pretties.
Yeah, so I mean, every year we are staggered by the work that our car team do. The cars always look absolutely fantastic. We've expanded the classic car roster again, so that's more beautiful cars to look at. And with the addition of the F2, the 2018 season to start with, and then the addition of the 2019 F2 season as well, we wanted to really showcase the quality of the vehicles, the work that the car team do, but also educate the player a little bit on the teams, give them a little bit of information about them, who drives for them, a little bit of history about the teams. So as you can see, this is the location that we're framing the F2 cars in. As you can see, they look absolutely spectacular.
They look really nice.
If I ask for a little bit more information, there we go, we get a little bit about the team.
And that's really nice, and that pans round, doesn't it, that camera?
Yeah, and then I can turn that UI off as well, and just marvel at the spectacle of the car.
Yeah.
As you can see, that one looking rather nice there. So there's Jack Aitken's car. So if we come out of here and we'll have a quick look at one of the classics.
Yeah, let's have a look at one of the classics. So which one's your favourite out of the ones we've got this year?
Do you know what? I really like and I'm not just pushing it because it's new this year, but I really like the McLaren, the Senna McLaren. It's just got such a really nice balance to it, and the engine audio is absolutely amazing. But I think what's really cool here as well is the locations that we've framed the cars in. So as you can see here, the classic cars are in very much a museum location, and as I swap, there we go, we've got some really nice imagery in the background. Yeah. You know, it's the sort of stuff that we have on the wall in the office. You know, it just looks beautiful. And then obviously the modern cars, if you look at the setting here again, it's very much what you expect to see of a modern Formula 1 facility. So there we go.
That looks really nice.
There we go.
Look at that.
So again, it's a great way to showcase all of the cool content we've got in the game.
And that's a nice little screenshot there. Sorry, I'm pointing and you can't see. But there's a screenshot there in the back. You can see it changes depending on what car you select, and it looks really sweet and really nice. If I were to say sweet and really nice, if I were to say so myself.
There we go, a little bit about the Renault team. Yeah. As luck would have it, I've picked Renault.
Your favourite team?
I am a fan.
You are.
Okay, so that was really cool. We've had a chance to look at the showroom, obviously look at how great the 2019 cars look, the classics and the Formula 2 cars. So let's go and have a look at customisation.
Customisation.
Yeah, so it's a big thing for us this year in the game, something we've wanted to do for a while. I'm not going to talk just yet about the multiplayer car, so let's first sort out my character. Yep. Let's sort out my online persona.
So badge. So could you tell us what our badge is?
Yeah, so as you can see there in the top right-hand corner, that's my super license in the game. So whenever I race online, obviously I'm represented with my badge, which you'll see in the lobbies, and that will also be attributed to the super license. So as you can see, I've already got a pretty sweet badge there, and I actually bought that one as well earlier on, but I've still got plenty of competition points to spend. So competition points are the currency that you earn when you take part in the weekly events, and then they can then be spent in the game on really nice customization items for either the multiplayer car or the character itself. So I'm going to pick that one because I think that's pretty cool. So that's now updating, so I shall confirm that.
And
there we go.
It's changed in the top right.
So that's pretty cool. So that's how I'll be identified in lobbies. You'll see that is the badge that represents me. So now I think I'm going to set up my driver. So this is how I'll appear to people in the game when I'm racing online.
So I think one thing to bear in mind, I think, is that before we get too into it, is that the kind of driver avatar player character faces had a lot of work done on them, haven't they? Yeah. So as part of the work that we've done to implement the F2 feeder series. The two characters that we've added to the game there that you'll race against obviously are very professionally motion captured, and we wanted to get across the emotion when they're when they're arguing or when they're talking. You know, it's very much about that emotion and that passion between the drivers. So there's a lot of work gone into the characters. So as you can see there, it looks absolutely fantastic on screen. So I'm going to pick myself somebody different to represent me as a driver. So I think I'll pick this guy here. So that will now be the character that represents me as a driver while I'm playing the game. Nice. So you can already see there as well, I've actually got a slightly different race suit on. I've actually already been customising my character while I was racing earlier on. But I think let's make some changes. I think it's time for a change. Yeah. I'm not particularly happy with my selection, so I'm going to go for something a little bit different. So I'm just going to pick, I think I'm going to go for, I'm going to spend some credits and I'm going to go for that one. There we go. So I've spent some of my points to purchase myself a new helmet. So they're just competition points on it that you just spent? Exactly. Yeah. So that's competition points, all that you win within the game. Yeah. So I've now got myself a nice helmet. I'm pretty happy with the colour on that one, so I'm not going to make any changes. But what I am going to do is make some changes to the suit. I don't think the two go together very well. No. Not that I'm some sort of fashion guru, so please, by all means, don't pay any attention to my poor taste. But I actually think that is a really good match. Yeah, they go. I think that I'm pulling out the purple and his eyes are popping, so yeah, we'll go with that. So I think that's a pretty cool suit. So again, this is now how other drivers will see me when we're racing online together. If I'm driving one of the classic cars, that's the suit I'll wear. But obviously if I'm driving an official Formula 1 car, I'll be driving the suit for the team that I'm racing for. Exactly. So I think that looks pretty sweet, but I think unfortunately my gloves are really letting me down there at the moment. That's a poor colour choice in gloves. So I'm going to move across to the gloves and see what's available to me in here. So again, I can spend competition points to buy gloves. There's already some available to me, which don't cost anything, but I think those gloves obviously look like they're going to match quite nicely. Yeah, they match really nicely. Yeah, let's go with those. I've actually managed to really improve the way my driver looks in game there, I think.
So let's have a look what the final outcome is. There he is. That looks pretty cool. That's a good race suit. It's a good helmet. So that's the driver that's now going to represent me when I play online. So I think now, let's have a look what I'm driving. So this is the multiplayer car that we're going to look at now. So this is a new initiative in the game this year. It's something that came about from a collaboration between our car team and Ross Brawn and Pat Simmons from Formula One. So they got together and they designed this car, which is a Formula One 2019 spec car. So it's built to match the rules of the sport, but it's not one of the existing teams. It's a car that we've designed. So that's opened up a whole new world of customization for us. So the player can now apply different skins to that car and customize it to represent themselves in online play.
So shall we have a look at what is available and what the liveries?
Yeah. So straight up there, there's 3 liveries available to me here at the start, and I can customise the colours on those. So there's already a great degree of customisation before I even start spending my points on some of the more elaborate liveries. So obviously there I can make changes to the colours. So if we just go in here very quickly, I'll have a look at changing. Maybe change the red out. Let's change that for yellow. The green. I went for purple, didn't know with the driver, so maybe I should try
maybe go for purple.
Pull out some purple in the colours. So there we go. So that would be a good representation. That'd be a good car for me. But I'm more elaborate than that, so I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to pick one of the skins that I can purchase using the points that I've still got. I've got a good amount to spend. So I'm going to pick, because I've already purchased a few, but I'm going to go for... no, there's one here that actually already suits my suit. So yeah, with the theme of purple, so I'm going to go for that one. So as you can see there, I've spent some competition points on that skin. Again, those points that I would have won by taking part in weekly events. So you can see there. So that's now the car that will represent me while I'm racing online.
Do you feel happy with that colour scheme, or do you want to change it? Or are you happy with it as it is?
You know what? I think the blue's a little understated. I think we should probably make a change to that. So let's go back to my skin, and I'm going to change the blue. What colour should we go for? We need something a bit more...
What do you think we should go for?
I'm going to go for white.
Yeah, somebody's making his own decisions.
There we go. I think that was cool. I like that.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that works well.
I think
so. So now when I race online, that's the car that people will see me driving in the suit that you've just seen me select with the helmet and the gloves, and also represented by the badge that you see there in the top right-hand corner when players look at my super license. So there we go. So that's customization in the game this year. Again, it's a huge element that we've never had before, something we've been striving to do for such a long time, and it ties in beautifully to the way it works with the leagues and how it works with the online play.
Nice. So whilst we're here, and considering it's the Canadian Grand Prix this weekend, why don't we take a car for a spin in Montreal?
Sounds like a good plan to me.
So, what card would you like to take around? You've got all these. You have 2 cars, the classic cars. You have 1 car. What car would you like to take around?
I'll let you pick.
Oh!
I'm feeling brave.
Oh, that's a bad decision on his part. Shall I give you the Renault? Should we have the Renault?
That's kind.
If you go to Canada, let's have a look at Canada.
So something that's particularly cool about Canada in the game this year is we've had a significant visual uplift to a lot of the circuits, and you'll see there's some really cool intro cameras when you play this in the career. So you won't see them in time trial, but what you'll see is some really nice new assets. You'll see the dome's now been remodeled, looks really effective. You've got the areas around the pit boxes and things like that. Again, it looks very, very realistic, very authentic. They really are establishing shots that you expect to see in the broadcast that you see on TV.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so I'm going to get out on track and see how I get on with the Renault. Always looking good. You can see the new tyres this year, the way that the release agent makes them look slightly different, so you get that extra sheen, that extra gloss on the outside edge. You see the new on-screen display elements as well. So as you can see now, there's a lot more of that which is taken directly from Formula One. Certainly you'll notice straight away that we've now integrated the genuine Formula One font that's used throughout all of the broadcast, again sort of keeping the game as official as possible, keeping it as close to real life and what people expect to see of a official Formula One title.
Shall we just take a moment just to listen to the sound?
Yeah, let's wait till in a minute when I get to the straight, this thing will sound screaming, won't it? we maintain silence while I try not to smash into the wall of champions.
Oh, I see.
Too cautious until I cut the corner. It's getting a bit closer now. Try and catch up with these guys. I assume one of those is a QA person because he's going reasonably quickly compared to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in the wall.
That's what happens when you're talking drive. Whilst you're driving around, could you tell us a little bit about what you're looking forward to with the Canadian Grand Prix this weekend?
Well, there's sometimes some changeable weather, don't they, at the Canadian Grand Prix? So it'd be quite interesting to see if we get another torrential downpour as we've had in previous years. Also, I always really love tracks that just look like this. I love tracks lined with trees and grass. So I think they look always sort of. I've always been a traditional Formula One fan, so I do love these sorts of circuits. And this is an absolute classic track. I mean, named after obviously a legendary racing driver as well. So I think it's always a special race for me. And it's always one of the tracks that we enjoy racing quite a lot in the office. There's just something about the drag down this straight into the hairpin at the Wall of Champions. You know, it's always where it's where heroes are made, isn't it? But there's more often than not, it ends in tears in the wall with the front wing hanging off. You got any tips for the weekend? Who do you see winning this weekend?
Anyone beat Mercedes?
Not with the potential power upgrade coming as well. I mean, that sounds pretty ominous for the rest of the field at the moment.
I'll say it can be interesting to see how the midfield go as well.
Yeah, the midfield's been nice and tight so far this year. I think there's it's hard to. I mean, we obviously run the guessing which teams are going to do well each weekend, don't we? We do the online thing, and it's a case of you never know who's going to be where in the midfield at the moment. It really is a mixed bag, but that's really exciting.
So whilst we're here as well, Lee, you are heading off to E3.
Yes, so I shall be going on the road again with the game, taking it out to E3, getting as many people to get hands-on with the game as possible, talking about what's new, what's fresh in the game. So hopefully we'll be able to get some great content coming out of there as well. Also, you know, hearing what people think about the game. It's always nice when you reach this window to finally hear what other people think about the game, because obviously you play it so much internally, and we all love what we're doing. But, you know, it's great to hear what other people think as well.
So can people catch you on any kind of live stream or anything? Are you doing anything?
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure whether it's going live or whether it's going to be pre-recorded, but I'm doing something with Twitch on Sunday, just after the Microsoft briefing, so I need to sprint over to Twitch to do some live gameplay and a bit of talking about F1 there, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some other streams lined up as well. I mean, previous years we've done the IGN floor show and things like that, so I'm pretty sure we'll get some other stuff out there as well.
And if you keep an eye on Formula One game, so twitter.com/Formula One game, we'll be keeping you up to speed with anything that comes from E3, any E3 content, any seeing Lee on our live stream. We'll make sure we'll keep you updated with everything, so make sure you really do follow us on there if you're not already, to keep up to speed. Shall we go out with Canada? So we'll keep our time trial on here, and we will end, watch Lee do another lap, and we'll end it there. It's been great showing you F1 2019, and hope you really enjoyed it. We will be live streaming some more, so make sure you catch us, and we will be telling you when the next one is. So we'll leave you with Lee driving. Right, and with that, thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.